Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. A couple of days ago I released my first video, and if you've watched that, you know at the time I was recording that video I was reading a book, and that book is this one here, East of Eden by John Steinback. And going into it I was quite skeptical because I didn't really know what to expect. I was hearing people saying it's the greatest book they've ever read, it's the greatest book ever written, and a couple chapters in I wasn't really drawn because, no offense to John Steinbeck's writing, it was beautiful the way he was describing, the Salinas Valley, California, but I wasn't really drawn in by the story. And then the more I read, the more I realised that, and the more I felt that I was living, in this book almost with the characters. And some of my favourite characters of literature are probably in this book. Sam Hamilton, Lee, Caleb Trask. These are great characters. And some of the things that these characters have said really stuck with me. And the philosophy that John Steinbeck kind of centered his book around as well. I wanted to finish this book before I started the new academic term because, I don't know, it just kind of felt refreshing to almost finish it and complete it during my Christmas break. But that's a bit off topic, and since we're off topic, I just want to talk about this drink as well, Turkish tea. It's amazing. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend it. It's very floral, very light. It almost feels like you can be drinking it forever. But back to topic. Back to the topic of today's video. The philosophy behind this book, and that philosophy, if I had to give it a word, and everyone knows what word this would be if you've read the book, is timshel. Now, I've promoted this book quite a lot now, but if you haven't read this, I would very heavily recommend it. It's a beautiful book, but if you haven't read it, the word timshel might not hold any significant value to you, or you may not even know what the word means, and that's completely fine. I didn't know what it meant. I kind of didn't really know what it meant until the last page of this book, but then I kind of thought, reflected, and as I've heavily tabbed, went back, read all the previous things about the word timshel, and I really reflected on the true meaning of it. And yeah, so to those who don't know what timshel means, it originates from the book of Genesis, specifically the story of Cain and Abel, and this book is very it's basically a modern retelling of Cain and Abel across generations. But timshel is a Hebrew word, and translated it means thou mayest. Now, those words might not hold any significant value. They didn't really for me when I was reading it, because I didn't really understand it. But it links to the idea of free will, freedom and choice. And I do think those topics are very, very important, and important to consider, and important to use as a guideline to how to think about life and to go about life. Because, the life around us is not very in our hands. We can expect specific things to happen. They might not happen, for good or for bad. But fundamentally, we have no control of what's around us. We have no control of what we innately are as humans, in the sense of we have no control of where we're born, where we live, who our friends, family, relatives. We have no control over that, over our physical life. But there is one thing in everyone's world that they have 100% right, 100% control over. And that is you. You have 100% control over yourself in the way you think, react, act. No one can tell you that you're doing it wrong because it's you. No one has the right to do or tell you what to do except you, fundamentally. And I think, the philosophy of timshel really captures that. One of my favourite characters in the book, Caleb Trask, really suffers with the idea of being innately bad, innately evil, almost. But he realises that's wrong later on, because fundamentally you have the choice of how you react, how you think, how you go about living your daily life. And this also links to another character, my favourite character in this book, called Lee. And he also reads one of my favourite books, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom that you can gain from this book. I'd say Marcus Aurelius talks about quite similar things related to some of the things that are talked about by John Steinback. They have quite parallel philosophies in the sense that you cannot control your fate. You're almost tied down by the chains of fate, but you can control how you react. I couldn't really find the exact quote I was looking for in this book, so I had to search it up. But one of the quotes in this book that relates very well to the idea of timshel is, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realise this, and you will find strength. I think this quote is very important. Sometimes we feel hopeless when we cannot control the situations around us. But realising this, and realising that we can control how we react, is almost peaceful and gives us a sense of freedom. I think this is because we can accept that we can never control anything once we realise this, and accept the fact that we have control over ourselves. I think that's really important to realise and consider to give you peace of mind.